Do you create content for the Microsoft Data Platform? Do you get the exposure? Does your content get the exposure that your efforts deserve when you share on LinkedIn? When you post on LinkedIn and share your content, does your post reach the majority of people in your network? Does it get to the majority of your first degree connections? Now, if you create content, blogs, video presentations, maybe you organize conferences in the Microsoft Data Platform community, and you post your content on LinkedIn, sometimes you might feel it falls into a black hole. I know you're not in it for the likes and comments, right? You're creating content because you want to share what you know. You've had a problem, you fixed it, and now you're sharing it to help others who've got the same problem as you. You also know that creating content and helping others, in following that process, you're building your own brand. You're showcasing your skills, you're making them available in the public domain for others to see and use. That public sharing process can build your brand, it can improve your career prospects, and establish you as someone who knows a lot about the Microsoft Data Platform. Sometimes you might create content so you can learn something new. Creating content on something new means you have to learn, research and understand the topic before you can craft your content. And nothing shows experience in using a new technology like writing about it. Sharing your content has got many benefits for the people that consume that content and for yourself. So while I know you're not in this for the likes and comments, it would be a shame not to maximise the effort you're putting into creating this great content. You want to make sure it reaches as many people as possible. Now, you might have been read or been told that sharing on social media and LinkedIn in particular can really help you reach more people, and it can. We know it takes a long time to write a really good blog post. It's time and effort, right? Now, granted, that depends on the subject. A technical how-to blog with screenshots, it does take time and effort. You're going to go through revisions and changes, and when you finally hit the publish button, you don't want that effort to feel like it's been wasted. You might create content to share your opinion on a subject. It might be you feel particularly strongly about a given area or given subject, right? And if you've taken the time to write that opinion piece, right, and share your thoughts, you're likely to get frustrated if, when you come to share it on social media, nobody views it and sees it. Perhaps you talk at a data community conference. You know how much effort goes into producing these presentations. An hour-long talk takes a long time to produce. Right, you want to let people know that you're talking at that conference, and then you post it on LinkedIn, perhaps at a non-optimal time. Nobody sees your posts, and not many very people in your network are aware you're talking. You might be an organizer of a conference. You might be putting on a free community event. It might be a data Saturday, a SQL Saturday. It might be the new stars of data, and you want to let people know about it. Right? Sometimes free stuff is really hard to sell, and it's even more challenging when your social media and LinkedIn efforts don't get the traction that you need. So you're producing and sharing content. When you post on LinkedIn, does it look like some of the screen grabs here? That in itself can be very disheartening. You create this great post, you send it out, and it gets lost in the noise. 5 likes and 2 comments, 380 views. Right? You're not on your own with this either, right? But it is something you can do about it. Now, I have to state, what I'm talking about here is not an excuse for poor quality content and spam. You are still going to need really, really excellent, engaging content. There is no substitute for content. Now, last year, just before the sort of first lockdown kicked in, I did some quite interesting marketing and sales training around LinkedIn in particular, and it was fascinating. And it told me some stuff that I knew already, and some stuff that I didn't. And the main takeaway for me is engagement is the key, and it's a solution to fix all that content falling into the black hole. So with the key to success being engagement, and engagement on your post, right, and success being your LinkedIn post getting in front of as much as your first degree connections on your network as possible, you need to get 20 comments and likes within the first 2 hours of publishing your post, right, to get the best traction. I call this the 20-20 rule. Now, the time of day you publish is essential as well. There's a daily cycle when LinkedIn will likely be at its busiest. Okay, so assuming that most of your network in the same geographic area as you, so in my case I'm in sort of Europe, right, and breakfast, lunchtime, at the end of the workday around 5 p.m. is probably the most ideal time for me to post, right, assuming that I'm also adhering to the 20-20 rule. So how can you achieve the 20-20 requirement? How can you get that? Well, first you need engaging content. Without that, you're onto a loser straight away. But assuming you've got something fascinating to say and something engaging, joining an engagement community, sometimes called a pod, can be helpful. What's an engagement pod? It's a group of like-minded people who create content for the Microsoft Data Platform. They share it on LinkedIn. You then take a link to that post, pop it into the pod, which is a WhatsApp or Signal group. The people in the group will like and comment on your post. These are fellow data professionals, so commenting is simple and easy, and you pay it back and forward, but it makes achieving the 2020 rule pretty straightforward. Now there are a couple of rules, alright? If you use the pod, you must like and comment on all of the posts put in the pod that day. Reciprocation is important. Alright, if you haven't got time to comment and like on others' posts, you haven't got time to use the pod. We don't tolerate abusive behaviour, and you can only post once a day. Stick to those rules and you'll be fine. Alright, so if you want to get involved, get in touch with me on LinkedIn. Send a connection request. Mention where you saw or came across the pod. I'll take a look at your profile, and as long as it's a data professional, I'll send you the links to join our group and you can get involved, and we will help you improve your reach on LinkedIn. By getting involved in the pod, it can help get your content in front of more people. The more people that read and consume your content, the more rewarding it will feel to you as that content creator. Right? So get the reach and coverage your great effort and your great content deserves. And then you can see on the slide there's some comparisons. The increased coverage will improve your reach and allow you to help more people, which is what this is all about. You'll build your brand, you'll improve your career prospects, and establish yourself as a leader in your community. What have you really got to lose?